A very good evening to one and all present here. My greetings to all. It is a great privilege for me, Assistant Professor of Law, Manipal University, Jaipur, to welcome you all to this webinar, Judiciary Unscripted. Dissemination of knowledge is believed as a core responsibility of Manipal University, and it is with this belief we have organized this webinar for the benefit of our young minds. On this note, I would like to introduce to all of you with our leadership team from Manipal University, Jaipur, President Professor G.K. Prabhu, Pro-President and Dean, Faculty of Arts and Law, Professor N.N. Sharma, Registrar, Dr. Neetu Bhatnagar, all are very distinguished members of Manipal University, Jaipur. We also have Director, School of Law, Professor Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Sharma, and I welcome you all to this webinar. Dear participants, I welcome you all to this webinar, Judiciary Unscripted, with our chief guest for today's session, Mr. Mayank Pratap Singh, as India's youngest judge. And I'm sure this webinar will definitely help you get an insight to build your careers in future. To begin with today's program, I call upon Dr. Kiran Raj, Assistant Professor, School of Law, Manipal University, Jaipur, to welcome our President, Professor G.K. Prabhu, to have an interaction with all our young and ignited participants. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Nishta, for your kind gesture. Very good evening to everyone present here. I, Dr. Kiran Raj, on behalf of the School of Law, Manipal University, Jaipur, would like to extend my gratitude towards Honorable Professor G.K. Prabhu Sir, our President, the guiding light under whose mentorship we all are marching towards quality education, for sparing his valuable time for today's session. We are pleased to have your presence with us, sir. Thank you once again. Now I request you, sir, for your presidential address and words of encouragement. Please, sir.
So good evening. Kiran, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So good evening, my dear colleague, friends, as well as students. And this is a nice occasion for all of us to interact with one of the very distinguished guests today. Yes, the last 1.5 years, it was a very difficult time. Many of us, we couldn't meet in the campus. Face-to-face meeting is becoming a challenge. And although we were confident to open the campus, maybe in the March 2021, few of you have already visited the campus, but again, the second wave hit, which is a little more harder. And again, we were going back to the online mode. But having said, the enthusiasm did not come down. Many of us have used this time very effectively and also utilized it to our personal and career growth. And many of these teaching, learning, which happened online, many of you have utilized this time very effectively to connect to your friends and the other dignitaries online. Although the physical meeting has its own advantages, but not sitting idle during this particular time. It is also very important. As far as the Manipal University, Jaipur is concerned, and as many of you are aware, that we have launched this in 2011 as a very small university at that time, only an engineering program, taking admission about nearly 300 students, very small group of faculty at that particular time. Today, nearly about 9,000 students are there in the particular camp. More started with the one program. today have nearly about 50 undergraduate and postgraduate program, and also the PhD program in the many other areas. And under the group of Manipal universities, in whether it is in main Manipal, Karnataka, or in Jaipur here, or also part in Sikkim, the other campuses that we have, either it is in Dubai and Antigua. If you see in all these campuses, the legal education, the law, is the only one in the Manipal University, and which is doing very, very well. And this is a very proud and a pride moment for all of us here in Manipal University, right? And within the group, also being considered as a very important the education part. I would really congratulate all the leadership in the School of Law, and the earlier Professor Mradul Madam has taken a very good initiative and the leadership to initiate and to bring it to this level. Now this leadership under the able guidance from Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Sharmaji, as well as the many other senior faculty members, we are growing very fast. And 2021 is the decennial year celebration, 10th year celebration for us. And I'm sure there would be a very good plan that we have, and under which inviting many of the distinguished uh, uh, persons in the various fields, and also interacting with us and getting inspired by them. It is also one of the important part of this celebration. And today we are so happy to have the very distinguished guest with us. I'm very happy that all of us are here to listen. And today we have Mr. Mayank Pratap Singh, and is considered to be the India's youngest judge. And he's the one that who is interacting with us today. And I believe at the age of 21, so he became the judge. And for all the young aspirants, so he is a very what do you say attractive person. And today we are very keen to listen to him, and also know a very important topic like judiciary unscripted. And it is not only an important for the law student, and for all of us other than law also, it is very important and interesting to listen. On behalf of the Manipal University and on behalf of all of you here, I have a great pleasure to welcome Mayank Singh ji. And let us see that how that we will get inspired by his very speech on the very important topic. I also welcome all of you, as well as the leadership team and the faculty members from the Manipal University, Jaipur. So let us not take more time and giving a speech from my end. So we are all here and eager to listen to him. So I hand it over back to Kiran Raj, and then she will the guide as the whole program as far as the proceedings. So once again, thank you very much for having me, and welcome all of you, and very eager to listen to the guest on the very special topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for always guiding us and motivating us through your valuable insight. Thank you once again. Now is the moment for much awaited interaction with our chief guest for the session today, Mr. Mayank Pratap Singh. He is quoted as India's youngest judge. Mr. Mayank has completed his graduation in BA LLB in the year 2019 as the university gold medalist, and soon after, within a year, he has secured first rank in Rajasthan Judicial Services, only at the age of 21 years. He is currently posted in Jaipur as Civil Judge and Judicial Magistrate First Class, I, on behalf of Manipal team, congratulate you and welcome you, sir, to this webinar. Please, sir.
Thank you so much. My warm greetings to all the people who are present over here. And first of all, I would like to say that I am extremely overwhelmed for the warm welcome address that Mr. G.K. Prabhu has extended to me. And I am highly honored for Sir to have given me this platform to interact with the students, with all the people who are present. And um, I am also not uh, I'm also aware of the fact that many people that who I know from past are present here, and I'm extremely grateful to be present over here before them in a capacity different from student. And I acknowledge the presence of the pro-president of Manipal University, Mr. N. Sharma sir, and director of School of Law, Vijay ma'am, and also Kiran Raj ma'am. She actually has taught me for 5 years in my college, so I'm extremely grateful that she's present here. I also acknowledge the presence of Mr. V.N. Mathu sir. He has also taught me forensic science in my college time, so I'm extremely grateful that I'm present here in a capacity of a judge, and I see that my dreams have come true, and I see them in their eyes as well. Now coming to the topic of judiciary unscripted, I hope that in the time that I have been given, I'm able to, convey whatever experiences I've gathered in this entire journey of preparation, the experiences that I've gathered after being posted as a civil judge in Jaipur. And I will try to convey to my best level, and I hope everyone is comfortable with English. So and I hope I'm audible to each and everyone. Please let me know if the audio is not clear, right? So, for today's session, I am going to share something with you all. I have prepared some PPT so that you people can just one second. I hope that the screen is visible, right? Please, somebody from Manipal University side, let me know if this is my presentation.
Yes, sir, it's
So much. Today, the session is about scripted, and I welcome you all to this session on behalf of this university, on my behalf. And so let's continue without wasting time. So this is some information about me. I am a judicial officer of the batch 2020, currently posted in Rajasthan. I was selected in the exam of 2019 at the age of 21, and I supposedly became the youngest judge of country, which I didn't know when I appeared for the exam, but I got lucky enough to be the one. And I secured first rank in Rajasthan Judicial Services exam, and it was my first attempt. I appeared for the exam right after my final year of the college. Actually, I appeared for preliminary examination when I was still in my final year, and I am currently posted as a civil judge, judicial magistrate first class in the state of Rajasthan. So before starting, I would like to convey what should be the right belief system, right? We all start preparation, we all think that this is a year long process, we will do this or do that, but what should be the motivation? So my all time inspiration is our former president of this country, late Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who once said that dream is not that which you see while sleeping, it is something that does not let you sleep, which means you should be dedicated enough that until you are able to fulfill your dream, you will not sleep. You will not stop at any point of time. This should be the level of dedication when you start preparing for anything, whether it is judicial services or any other career option. Everything demands your efforts, efforts to a level where you prove that you are the best for that job. And more than that, you should be satisfied enough that even if you don't get the result, you gave your 100% and there was nothing that you could do elsewhere. So first step is to dream and then to work towards fulfillment of their dream until it becomes a reality. So, I would like to start this session by telling you all that how I reached the stage that I am in today. Um, I was a science math student. For a science math student to take law is a totally different concept. People don't approve of it because they think that law is a option of last resort. But for me, law was the first option that I chose. My parents asked me that what I wanted to do for the rest of my life as a career option. I was very much attracted to this field because this field not only gives you career options but also empowers you as a person, right? Because in a life where so many things people are unaware of as a layman, as a lawyer, by saying a lawyer I mean a person who has knowledge of law, not a person who is practicing as an advocate. Being a lawyer who is studying law gives you ample knowledge about day to day activities which a layman does not have. And that power lies with only a
Yes,
student of BLLB. So, law, I chose law as a career in the last year of my school. Then, about college choices, college is the foundation of everything that you do for the rest of your life as a career, right? So college should be a place where you not only are inclined towards your academics but also you expand the horizons of your knowledge as well as a person. It should not only be about books, it should be also about providing you opportunities where you learn from day to day activities of your life, whether it is about moot courts, whether it is about um, participating in any debate competition or anything else. So it has to be an all comprehensive place where you get to explore your creativities. Okay, now you have joined the college. The next question before me was why judiciary, or why or you are at a stage where you choose your career, right? So my both of my parents are in government sector, and that was one of the driving force behind me choosing judiciary as an option. So why judiciary? When somebody asks me, first of all, judiciary is not only a government job which provides you security of a lifetime, a good salary, or a good status in society. It's about that, but it's not only about that. Judiciary gives you, I think, for me, it gave me the contentment in my heart that I can be associated with people from a platform where I have the power to pass orders which uh, people think will influence their lives. I have I have been given a position like many of my seniors, many of my colleagues, where I can be a part of system, try to use that system for people's welfare anywhere where I'm posted. So that was the main motivation behind me choosing judiciary as an option. Now, once you have chosen your career, how to go about achieving it? Judiciary, as we all know, is a field where people get entry through a limited competitive exam, where people enroll themselves, they appear for three stages of this exam. So the question arises how to study about it, how when to study about it, right? So first of all, I want to make this clear that from my personal experience, I studied without taking any coaching classes. I was not at all at any point of my college life or afterwards associated with any coaching as a regular student. I only, to gauge the level of my preparation, I only enrolled in the test series and mock interviews so that I can know where I stand. I was preparing at home by myself. This position that I've been given is the result of my self study, and to check where I stand in between people who are already preparing, I took test series and appeared for mock interviews so that I can know where I'm flawed, where I can work on. But I was never associated as a regular student of any coaching class. And I utilized my college time as the time to prepare for these services. Whenever I used to study in college, the people who are present here, who already know me, who have taught me, know well enough that I was a student where I would never take college studies for granted. I would always prepare as if I am preparing for the exams. Whenever there were college exams or university exams, I would appear as if I am appearing for RJS itself or judicial services itself. So my approach was that only. So whenever those subjects who used to come, which are also part of RJ syllabus, I would prepare them wholeheartedly, make notes, and do whatever I can to reach that last mile. uh, Now, for me, I was preparing, but I didn't know that when I will be able to appear, because when I was in last year of my college, the age was minimum age for appearing for RJS was still 23. I also filed a writ petition in High Court for its reduction. Although it didn't result into the reduction, but ultimately, Honorable High Court of Rajasthan had already taken the decision to reduce the age from 23 to 21. Uh, and I still remember that day was 2nd of January 2019, because that is the time when my life took a whole new turn. Uh, I was about to appear for my ninth semester exam from 5th of January 2019, and I had already known that the age has been reduced, and now I have become eligible to appear for this exam. So that was the gruesome time where I could not prepare for RJS, because I had to appear for college exams. But as I've already told you in previous point, that I in college itself was preparing as if I was preparing for judicial service itself. So even after the fact that from the time age got reduced to the time prelims were scheduled, there was only a gap of 2 months. So if a person would start all together from that point of time for 2 months, a person can never prepare for a prelims in that short period of time. But since I utilized my time in college for preparation, I was able to appear for prelims in the very first attempt, after 2 months of age reduction. And in that 2 months also, I had 1 month of my college exam. So you can gauge from this my experience of mine that how important college time is. You can't waste college time saying ki, I have last year and I'll prepare in last year, or after college I'll join a coaching for 1 year. That is the way, but if you utilize your college time, that will be more beneficial to you. Now, my experience of having appeared all the stages of exam, be it prelims, mains, or interview, I would say that it's all about persistence, because this exam demands a lot. It is not something which would be a piece of cake for anyone, because high honorable high court had set the level of this exam to an extent where they will gauge your preparation, your knowledge, your experience at any and from every nook and corner, from every dimension of your law syllabus. They will gauge and examine where you stand. So in all stages you need to maintain patience and perseverance all throughout. And after I had appeared for this exam, I was waiting for my result. I had given my interview on 17th November 2019. I still remember that day. And results were about to be announced around 19th or 20th of November. So I was late. Um, I was awake late at night, but results didn't came. Then I slept, and then my phone started ringing. I am telling you about this experience that my whole life changed. Uh, I I woke up and I saw my mobile and saw a lot of messages. No, none of the messages said that the results are out, but they were just missed calls and people saying that where are you, where are you, where are you? And then I had this sudden intuition that maybe results have been announced. I went to the High Court's website, I checked it, and then I was thinking that it will take time for me to search my name in the list, even if it is there. I was doubtful that whether I will be on the list or not. But I opened the list. The first page, on the first place, I found my name. That was a surreal moment for me, and it changed my life completely. People started calling, and I within 6 months I got my posting. I was extremely exhilarated by the fact that for the exam that I had prepared, myself for the entire college life. I finally achieved that aim, and everything that you go through in your life teaches you something, right? And you can use that experience anywhere you are trying to make your career. So that is what you can take from my experience. Now, I would go on to explain you that what judiciary as an institution means. I will go about the ways in which you can prepare for this, this field for this exam. Now, judiciary as an institution, first of all, I think that before starting preparing for any career option, you should know its outline, what it stands for, right? What are its nuances? What does this field demand from you? So first question that appears is, what does it stand for? What does judiciary stands for? Judiciary as not only one of the pillars of our government, but also a branch of this system of this country where people expect justice. Justice, as we all know in the constitution, is not only legal but also socio-economic, political. It is written there in the preamble, and judiciary extracts its powers from that part of the constitution. It is something which people stand in awe for. They respect this institution, and this respect is not an overnight respect. This is earned over a period of time where many people who have come before me, who will come after me, have made this institution a concrete institution where justice is imparted to people. It's a noble job. So before starting preparing for it, you should know that this field is a very important part of not only this country but the lives of this country's people. The same goes for its importance as well. Now the next question comes, how to get into this institution. As we all know, we do not have an integrated Indian judicial service kind of thing. It has not been established yet, so each state conducts its own exam, and it has its own cadres of judicial officers, and you will have to appear for the exam conducted by each of the honorable high courts of the state or the PCS judicial. Now, what does judiciary as a career demands from you? Judiciary as a career is, I will not coat it into any pink light or butter. It demands a lot. It is a reality. It demands a lot. It's not something which you just enter and you relax. It's not like that. Like any other career, it's a full-time job. When I first day of our induction training as a civil judge, we were told that you're not a judge for just 10 to 5 in a day. You are judged 24 hours. Your behavior, your conduct should be that of becoming of a judge at any point of your time in a day. So trust me, this career is not something you can take for granted. It demands a lot. It is a public service, so your attitude, your behavior should be that of a public officer. uh, you have to be disciplined. You have to follow the rules laid down by your honorable high court. You can't just pass orders out of whims. You have to follow law, and as an institution, it will be your duty to uphold article 14 of the constitution. And what does it say? It say equality before law and equal protection of law, which is nothing but rule of law in this country. Your duty will be to secure justice to people, right? And since you know that is your objective as a public officer, you have to maintain your behavior accordingly. Now, life after selection and years in service, career prospects as a judicial officer, I can say that after getting selected, it's for few days of your life after the selection, you will be on cloud nine. You will say that I will do everything. I will change the system. I will, you will start getting respect from people. You will start getting calls from people who have never called you before. But that is something very momentarily, very temporary in nature. What stays permanent is your motivation towards going in this service, and what this service asks from you, and that is complete discipline. Career prospects in this field are extremely diverse. In judiciary, first post that you get, which I got after selection, which many of my colleagues got after selection, is that of a civil judge and judicial magistrate first class in Rajasthan. Many of the states have a lower rung of judiciary as well, which is judicial magistrate second class, but we in Rajasthan don't have second class magistrates. So in after that, you get promoted to ACJM, which is additional chief judicial magistrate, then CJM, chief judicial magistrate, and then you have this post of additional district judge, then district judge, and then high court. And if you are lucky enough, or you were selected at a very good time, to the honorable Supreme Court as well. So don't think that this is something which you will just enter and you will not get any career prospects. It is a very diverse field, and mark my words, it's not only a court job, right? In this service you will get appointed to government's departments as well. Under law secretary, you will also get to do work of legal aid, which is very satisfying work, because you get to connect with people, you get to give them financial aid, you get to organize camps for those people. It's a complete field job. You can also be appointed as a officer on special duty in Rajasthan High Court as well. So these are the fields which will give you complete satisfaction towards your job. You don't have to worry about just doing a desk job of court from 10 to 5. It's a very diverse field. You will get multiple appointments. Even people who are giving us training from Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, they are also judicial officers. So in future you may also get appointed to that judicial academy and give trainings to your juniors. So that is something you have to keep in mind while preparing for it. Now, for preparation, when I started preparing for it, I had four pillars, uh, you can see on the screen, and I will list it down as well. First is the syllabus. Syllabus is your magna carta. It's something you can't go beyond, something which you can't miss. So syllabus gives you what to study. Syllabus is something which you can't skip. So what to do? Just take a printout of syllabus, paste it on your on any wall of your room, so that it is always in front of your eyes, so that you know what to study, what not to study. In college you study multiple subjects of law, but all of them do not form part of syllabus of your judicial services exam. So you need to know what laws are part of it, what local laws you need to study. Sometimes there might be law or any act in judicial service exam which was not a part of your college syllabus. You need to prepare for it extra. So know your syllabus. Second pillar of your preparation would be your resources. Resources, I mean your notes, your books, your bare acts. As for books, in the next few slides I will give you a list of books which you can note down, or take a screenshot so that you have it with you. For resources, my suggestion would be to keep it limited, because my strategy was to pick a source which will give me all encompassing view of any topic, and revises multiple times, rather than having five or four multiple resources and just revising it one or two times. When you revise one's resource, one note, one copy that you have prepared multiple times, the chances of retaining information is more than just having revised multiple sources just for one or two times. So I suggest keep your resources list limited, so that you can always go about them and then prepare for it, and before exam you can easily revise it as well. Third is previous year papers. Third pillar would be previous year papers. Previous year papers, why? Because they give you an idea what does the state expects from you. It gives you idea in which direction you need to prepare, what are the topics which are frequently asked, what are the areas where you need to focus more, what are the areas which even if you skip will not have a more collateral damage. If, for example, if you have less time for preparing like I did, you can go through previous year papers, see what are the areas from where less questions are asked, pay less attention to it and pay more attention to it where more questions are asked. So previous year papers will help you in that way. Fourth pillar of this preparation, journey would be test series. Why I say test series? Because prelims marks will not be added in your final merit list, right? The marks that will be added are your mains marks. And mains is all about answer writing. You will not get MCQs. You will have to write answers like you write in your university exam. So test series will help you practice that. Test series will help you to complete the paper in that time frame which you will get in the actual exam. It will give you an idea where your answer writing is lacking. So I will suggest give good 2 to 3 months to this answer writing practice. It is very important. So these are the four pillars. Please note them down, keep them in mind when you are preparing for it. These are the list of resources. Please take screenshot or note it down, because I will not be able to repeat them. These are the list of books that I personally refer to. There are books which are of Hindu law and Muslim law, as I am aware that in Rajasthan Judicial Services, uh, this does not form part of the syllabus, personal law, but in many states it does form part. So these are the books that I prefer during college time, which I think will also help you preparing for personal laws in judicial exam as well. Other subjects were there in RJ, so these are the books which I personally preferred. Now, for some of the books, I have written selective reading. Why? Because, for example, when you see IPC's Ratan Lal Zeeraj Lal, it's a very thick book. You can't just read each and every page of that book, right? So you need to know first that here again there is a role of previous year papers to play. Why? Because from previous year papers you will get to know what are the questions, what are the fields where frequent questions are being asked. For that you need to study in detail. For that you can refer to these books like Ratan Lal Dheeraj Lal, or you can also refer to any other book of your choice where that topic is explained in detail. Just read that part only and leave the rest. Otherwise, you will end up wasting your time reading the entire book of the 500 to 600 pages. It is not at all required. So, take a screenshot of this list, note it down, and lastly, I would give you a caution that this is not an exhaustive list of books. If you prefer any other book, you can refer to it. The main objective is to get a clarity of topic. You can make your own notes also if you want, so that you have every information in a crisp manner at one place, so that if you before exam want to revise it, you will be able to do that. I did the same. For some of the topics I directly read from books only, because I didn't feel like just replicating the entire information from the book to my notes. And bare act is the primary source. Why? Because sometimes in preliminary, bare is the of your preparation. Questions are directly asked from bare act. So at least you should be well versed with the bare act provision, in which provision this, for example, in prelims you will get questions like uh, in which provision of IPC the offense of criminal misappropriation of property is given. This is the question. So if you are have command on bare act, you will be able to answer it easily. Just recall which section talks about it, and then tick the question, tick the option. Otherwise, people ask me also that whether it is advisable to just reproduce the entire language of the bare act. I would say no. Not, you can write it on your write the answer in your own language, but what I suggest is there are some keywords of every provision which you must include in your answer. For example, if you are reading any offense of for example, if you are reading 378 of IPC, which talks about the offense of theft, there are five essential ingredients to it: dishonest intention, taking from somebody's possession, etc., movable property. These are the elements which need to be there in your answer. Even if you writing it in your own language, you have to mention those key elements. You can't change it. You can't write fraudulently in place of dishonestly. This you should be keeping in mind. Now, next is stages of exam. uh, there are three stages of exam for judicial services. First is the preliminary stage, second is mains, and third is interview. For preliminary examination, as I've already told you, Barrett are the foundation, but that does not mean that questions will be asked only from Barrett. When I gave the exam, questions were based on case laws also, which were recently decided, not case laws which are already known by people, which are well established. For example, if you studying constitution, everybody will know Keshwanand Bharti, everybody will know Menka Gandhi, but they talked about cases which were recently decided by the Honorable Supreme Court as well. So you need to keep tab of those legal developments. You need to read from books as well. So barracks are foundation, but you need to supplement it from the book knowledge as well. Then MCQ practice. Why practicing MCQ is important? Because MCQ gives you idea about how to eliminate options, how to guess even if you are not sure about the answer. For example, have a question where you don't know the correct answer, but for some of the options you are sure that this can't be the answer of this question, so you can eliminate it. So this practice will be developed only when you give test series and you practice a lot MCQ questions. uh, and in practicing that, you will also end up reducing your negative marking as well. In RJS you don't have negative marking, but in GJS you have negative marking. So if in any state you are preparing, make sure that you know whether the preliminary exam has negative marking or not. And if that state has negative marking scheme, you need to reduce that negative marking by attempting maximum questions as you know. And see, negative marking can be handled by a trick where if you're even sure about 50%, if you're 50% sure about any question, I would say attempt it, because at least 50% chances to hai that it will be right. But for some questions you may not be sure anything, that what is the answer, I don't know ki ye sahi hai ki nahi. And even in that scenario, I would suggest don't attempt it, because there are 100% chances of you getting the answer wrong. So 50 or more than, by 50% I mean if there are four options, you are confused in two options. So I would say attempt it. But uska ratio bhi zyada nahi hona chahiye. There should be limited questions where you are not sure and you're attempting it. So that will come out of practice only. In mains, the keys to practice answer writing, I would take the answer writing in a separate slide. Uh, and I would suggest to attempt the entire paper and give equal attention to all the questions. Mains and interview part I will be dealing in this separate slide. Uh, for mains, this is the slide which deals with mains examination. Note these all points down because that they will be very important for you. First is to strengthen answer writing. How? By giving test series. You can follow this set pattern of introduction, body, conclusion in your answer. But sometimes, as I have experienced by attempting these question papers, that these question papers are very lengthy. You are given, I think, 3 hours for a paper of civil, for a paper of criminal in Rajasthan. Other states might have different schemes. So those 3 hours will not be sufficient for you to attempt entire paper if you write introduction, body, conclusion for every answer. Okay, so you can go for this scheme for answers which you know very well, but sometimes the need is to just start writing the answer from the very first line. You can't afford to write introduction, then body, where you write the actual answer, then conclude it. Sometimes when it is all about the time that you have. For some questions, all questions cannot be attempted on the same level. कोई क्वेश्चन अच्छा अटेम्प्ट होगा, कोई क्वेश्चन बुरा अटेम्प्ट होगा, उसकी टेंशन नहीं लेनी है. आपको सारे क्वेश्चंस को अटेम्प्ट करना है. दैट इज द पॉइंट, व्हिच इज द थर्ड पॉइंट दैट आई विल बी कवरिंग. सेकंड इज managing time. Time management is very important because I've said that question paper is very lengthy. You will have to first 5 minutes of your exam. I would not say 5 minutes, just 2 or 3 minutes. Just scan through the paper, know what are the questions which are asked, because scan karoge to you will see ki some questions you will get, some questions you don't get first time read karne mein. So you will have an idea that what is the marking scheme of the paper, what are the weightage which is given to each question. Third, attempt all questions. This is something which people don't get, which I always suggest. If you miss out on some of the questions in your effort to write good answers to other questions, you will get less marks, and that is for sure. I will give you two scenarios. First is where you attempt all questions and you have written average answer to each one of them, and some of them are good also. And there is another scenario where there are 10 questions, you have written 5 questions in a very good manner, which not even the topper can, you know, uh, compete with you. But you have left 5 questions, other 5 questions. First scenario will fetch you more marks. Why? Because if one question is of 10 marks, the examiner will give you, even if you've written brilliant answer, it will not give you more than 6 or 7 marks. But if you've written average question, average answer, you will fetch 5 to 6 marks in any case. So 5 to 6 marks for 10 questions will be more than just 6 to 7 marks for just 5 questions, right? So attempt all questions, even if you are able to write average answers only. Manage time, attempt all of them. हाँ, कोई question ऐसा हो सकता है where you don't know anything, you have to leave it. You can't attempt, just you can't beat about the bush. Examiner will have get a wrong impression. If you don't know anything, don't attempt it. But if you know slightly, attempt it. Fourth is answer writing. Essay writing. Sorry, essay writing is very important because in Rajasthan you have two separate papers for that. One is in Hindi, one is in English. So follow set pattern of introduction, body, conclusion. That is something which is very easy to follow and will give you a structure. Will give structure to your answer as well. It has to be coherent and organized. By that I mean coherent in the sense your essay can't be just patchwork of information. It has to flow from one idea to another in a seamless manner. You have to, if you're writing causes of a social problem like female feticide, you have to write it in one paragraph, then move on to its effects, then move on to people who are responsible for this kind of an social evil. You can't just write causes in one paragraph, then go on with some other theme, then again jump on to causes. That is very haphazard and does not look good. It has to be organized. You can use codes, you can use facts, data to start your answer. That will give you a good impression. I did the same. And ending should also be captivating. You can give a quote of some famous personality, like I did the same in the start of this presentation by quoting late Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So you can do that. Avoid repetition of same idea because it will only exhaust your word limit. It will not fetch more marks. Next is language. Some states also have language papers. Most of the states have language papers. Gujarat has a Gujarati paper. In Rajasthan, you will get paper of Hindi and English separately. For that, I would suggest read newspaper. But you are not reading newspaper to gather current affairs. Just read the articles in English, in Hindi, so that you know how, essay, how articles are written. Will give you that idea. Don't read it exhaustively. Don't give more than half an hour to newspaper every day. Second is previous year papers, because that they will give you an idea that what are the topics on which essays are frequently asked. For example, in judiciary, you will say that on legal aid, on importance of judiciary as an institution. These are some topics. In social evils, you can say uh, social evils like female feticide, or these are the topics which are frequently asked. You can make a list of it. And third would be, on these topics which are frequently asked, you can prepare a write up beforehand, before going in the exam. You can do that. So when you do that, it will automatically enhance your preparation level because you have already prepared data with you, right? Then lastly, allocate time accordingly, because essays itne sare honge, you will have to allocate time which are to each and every essay. You can't afford more than that. And last trick that I always follow, which most of the people don't: when you see a topic of essay, go to the rough page and prepare an outline beforehand. Okay, what are the topics you are going to include? Don't give more than 5 minutes to it, but you need to prepare that outline so that you are able to know what topics you will include, and it will help you. It will also reduce cutting with your pen in the exam. Sometimes you have an idea, but you think this is not the right place to write in the exam. You cut it and then write it at some other place. That gives a very wrong impression, and it does not look decent. So an outline will help you organize your essay in a better manner. So this was all about prelims and mains. I shared my experience with you. Now comes the interview part. Interview is all about confidence. when you are lucky enough and you have prepared well so that you reach the stage of interview, it is something, I would always say that it's not a it will not be a test of your legal knowledge. It will definitely be a platform where the interviewers will ask you about your general law principles, but also it's more about how you present yourself, how confident you are, how well rounded your personality is, and how multidimensional are you in your thoughts. If uh, the panel of interview will be honorable sitting high court judges, and the experts also will be there. They will be testing you on each and every corner of this field. So you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared with recent legal developments. For example, when I was appearing for interview, I had there were many landmark judgments being passed on by Honorable Supreme Court. For example, Sabrimala review petition. For example, Ayodhya judgment had just recently came when I appeared for interview. Just 2 days before my interview schedule, these judgments were delivered by Honorable Supreme Court of this country, and I was asked about one of them. So you need to be prepared with recent legal developments also. You will be asked anything under the sun. You can't control, you can't say कि ये तो RJS के syllabus में नहीं था तो क्यों पूछा. They will ask you, but you don't need to be worried about it. If you have prepared for your exam well, you are well versed with your recent legal developments, you will sail through and you will get good marks in interview. Now these are some frequently asked questions which people ask me, that what is the how much time to prepare before exam. The ideal time is 1 year. You will have to prepare for at least 1 year. If you are preparing more than that, for example, I was preparing during my college time also, so the entire college time can be counted as my preparation only. So at least 1 year you have to decently prepare. Second is, our coaching class is mandatory. You are seeing me before you. I am the live example of the fact that coaching classes are not at all mandatory. But I would suggest you that it is also a personal choice. If you feel like joining a coaching, for example, there are people who, for the sake of regularity, they join coaching classes, and that is completely fine with it. So if you feel like you want to join coaching classes, don't hesitate कि कोई कहेगा कि coaching क्यों join कर ली, self study करते, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You can prepare self study also, but self study requires a discipline. You need to allocate time schedule for every day, and coaching classes do it for you. They schedule classes for you. They uh, conduct timely examination. So if you are comfortable with either of the approaches, you can take them. Third is, can we prepare while in college? Yes, you can absolutely prepare, and in fact college helps you in preparing for it. Right, if you utilize college time, you can easily prepare for the judicial services as well, because the syllabus is more or less same. You will get to study the major acts in college itself, which will be part of your RJ syllabus as well. Fourth is answer writing important. I've already told you it is very important. Sometimes people know a lot, but they are not able to express it in exams. But examiner will see through your personality only through your answer sheet, right? You can't just go in front of the examiner saying कि मुझे आता था but मैं नहीं लिख पाया तो you should give me marks. He will not give you marks. He will give you marks for whatever you have written. Fifth is, are barracks sufficient? Barracks are important, but they are not sufficient. You will have to supplement it with your book reading as well, or and case laws also. This was all about academics. बहुत हो गया. मैंने बहुत सारा experience share किया आपसे. You might be getting bored. So I am coming to the end of my session. Uh, See, at the end of the day, it all matters how much efforts you have given, right? As you can see on the screen, you should live the journey, not the targets. I've already told you this exam is almost a year long. It will require a lot of dedication from you, a lot of sacrifices, and this journey will end up teaching you a lot. Even if you don't get your target in first attempt, it's not mandatory you get selected in first attempt. Take multiple attempts, but at least you should be satisfied that you are giving your all. You are not lagging anywhere. And when you come out of this journey, whether as a civil judge or not, you will end up learning a lot. I will end my session saying, again, quoting my inspiration, Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam: winners are not those who never fail, but those who never quit. As I've already told you, You can't be certain of your success. I was not certain of my success. I was prepared for anything. I was even prepared for giving second attempt. But in my first attempt, I gave my whole everything that I had, dedication, sacrifices, everything I had to go through. But at the end, it's not about achieving your goal in first go, right? Even Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam, if you read his biography, you will say he has gone through multiple jobs. He even worked as a newspaper seller. His father was not from a very good background, but he had that zeal inside him. He used his knowledge, and finally, we know him as the people's president. Take inspiration from people who inspire you a lot. Even if you don't get to your results in first attempt, keep trying for it. Don't quit. And those who don't quit will come out as winners at the end. So this is the message that I want to leave you with. Once again, I would like to thank you all for hearing so patiently, and it's an extreme honor for me to be present over here and to be a part of this discussion, to be a part of a gathering where so many young minds are listening to me, and I feel so honored for having, you know, uh, for acting as a source of inspiration. And I would again like to thank the president of Manipal University, Mr. G.K. Prabhu sir, and all the people who made sure the session happens. Uh, Everyone, uh, just believe in yourself and go about this preparation if you feel like this field is for you, and the world will be your oyster. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a pleasure listening to your journey. And as I've said, your study pattern, your strategies for studying has definitely helped our student a lot to build their careers like yours. So now, a lot of students all over India have participated in this webinar, and many of them have joined and they are very much inquisitive to ask you questions. So for that matter, we have compiled some of these questions, and for that matter, these questions could be asked by our ADR Self members, Ms. Anya Raghuvanshi and Ms. Komal Mathur. They'll be asking you questions and you may answer the questions. Anya, Komal.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayank sir. Thank you for already preparing our PPT. For already, we drafted almost 800 questions. So, and you have almost answered all of them. And we are just one or two questions left, and that would be. What are your views on the All India Common Exam for Judiciary, which will maybe happening very, very soon? Will it increase already burdened competition level and the advantages of it?
See, as we all know, All India Judicial Service is still not an implementation, but I think that if once implemented, it's something which will pool talent from all over the country, not only from a particular state. A person from any kind, a person from Kerala will be able to appear for that exam seamlessly. It will not have to go through a altogether different, rule set of state of Rajasthan. If you take for the sake of example, so it will definitely help bringing talent from multiple sectors. But definitely rules will have to be laid down before that. For example, there will be experience requirements, because since the constitution mandates that only the direct appointments will be made on in district judge cadre itself. First appointment will be in district judge cadre, so you need to have the experience. You can't just allow a fresh college to appear for all India judicial services. So that has to be made out, and it is still under consideration. Many high courts are considering the option of any quotas or many things. So it will have to be seen how this scheme rolls out.
All right, sir. Komal?
I would like to ask that what is your opinion on the things including appointed as a
That is something that that is still under consideration. Let me tell you that like 7 to 10 years ago, this practice requirement was still there if you wanted to appear for judiciary exam. But by a decision of Honorable Supreme Court, it was eliminated. This practice requirement was withdrawn, and it mandated at least a year of uh, post selection training, which we are going under right now as a civil judge. So that was a decision taken by Honorable Supreme Court. But since Bar Council of India has passed the resolution of mandating 3 years, it has not been implemented yet. And for its implementation, a review petition will have to be filed in Honorable Supreme Court. Supreme Court will have to give its decision on it, and then only it can be said whether it will be implemented or not. 3 year practice requirement versus 1 year post selection training, both of them are same, but I think it will not be for me to comment on this. Still not implemented, and let's see what the Supreme Court is.
Very right now on the chat is how do we manage internships with judiciary preparation, and are they important?
Internships, this is something which people ask me a lot as well. It Internships are something which are not a mandatory requirement for judiciary. I might get in trouble for saying that, but uh, internships, let me tell you one thing: you can't be sure of getting selected in judiciary, right? You can't just appear for prelims and say that मेरा तो selection हो जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होता. So internships are your safety cushions. How? Because internships give you an experience which will also expose you to good jobs in private sector as well, right? You can't just pass on your college life saying कि मुझे तो सिर्फ judiciary के लिए prepare करना है. I will not go for any other career option. Judiciary might not choose you. If you are choosing judiciary, it's not certain that you will get selected in judicial services at any point of your life. This is a reality. This is something which you need to keep in mind. So internships will give you an experience which will expose you to good jobs, not only judiciary but private sector as well, corporate sector. There are people who are preparing for a corporate field. They want to become corporate lawyers. They have judiciary as an option as well. So internships will definitely provide you that exposure you can use in other fields as well. So don't just skip on that. You can't just sit at home say ki I will only prepare for judiciary, right?
All right, sir. So one more question that is coming up right now is, can you please tell about the note making strategy?
Note making strategy, first is you can't just replicate everything which is written in the book. It will just end up wasting your time. uh, Take out a book or 2 or 3 books which you like, compile the matter in a manner which is crisp in nature. What is the final objective of making notes? You want entire uh, information relating to one topic at one place first. Second, you need to be able to revise it properly before exam. If you end up writing entire information from the book in your notes, you will not be able to revise it properly. You will end up wasting your time. So if you're finding any cluster of topics which are already written in a very good manner in the book, I will suggest revise it from book itself. But if there is one topic where entire information is not present in one book, you need to collate it from different sources and then write it down. You can make flow charts. You can make diagrams to help you retain the information in a better manner. You need to keep it crisp, write it in points. Whatever information is there. अगर कोई case law है, you don't need to just note down the all the case laws which are written in the footnotes. Just note down the key leading judgments.
there is a question which we want to ask. Is it beneficial for judiciary aspirants to participate in co-curricular activities like moot courts or the advocacy competitions?
It is absolutely mandatory. Let me tell you why. Moot courts will give you a mindset where you will be able, for example, in judiciary, you will not only get direct questions from your syllabus, like what is murder? How is it different from culpable homicide not amounting to murder? This is a very standard question, right? Which you get in your IPC syllabus in your college. But you will also get questions in the exams which are application based, similar to your moot problems. So moot or any other extracurricular activity, which whether it is debates or speeches, it will prepare you with a mindset where you're able to analyze the problem from all the dimensions, because in the paper you will have only one chance, you will have to write an order, you will have to reach a conclusion which is right. Moot courts, extracurricular activities will help you doing that. So it is mandatory for people who are preparing for judicial. I will not say it's a part of your syllabus or you will be given extra marks in interview if you have appeared for moot courts, but definitely they will help you. I did the same. I was a person who would appear for 2 to 3 moot courts in each semester. So it's upon you to prepare how you prepare, because moot courts also give you an arena where you can apply your law, and the same will be required in your judiciary examination as well.
So there's a question that how to prepare. How are series very important, and which test series do you join?
I joined test series are very important, as I've already told you. It will help you gauge where you stand in the competition. You might be preparing from home, but if you appear for test series, you will know where जब आपका paper check होगा, तो you will get to know कि where your marks are getting reduced, where you need to improve, where do you stand in among other students, right? So test series is very important. The test series that I joined were multiple, from JKILS to, from uh, I'm forgetting the name, uh, from from out of the state judicial academies also. I will not say that you will. I will not. This is not the platform. This is not for me to suggest any one particular test series. You will have to go to coaching institutes. You will have to see what kind of questions are being offered in test series and choose accordingly. So I wouldn't say or suggest anyone or to go out there in the field, see the questions yourself. You can also practice writing answers to previous year questions if you are not getting any good test series, right? So that will help you. But test series is very important. Attempting questions are very important before exam.
All right, sir.
How did you keep yourself motivated and focused during your preparation time? Like, what were your which helped you to start in the days of preparation?
Uh, Motivation. Your goal must be your motivation, right? At the end of the day, what is your goal? Your goal is being appointed as a civil judge. Think of your life after getting selected. You will be sitting on a podium, you will be interacting with many learned advocates, you will get a lot of exposure where you will be able to influence the lives of people, you will have the power to engage in welfareistic activities. So that must be your motivation. Your goal must be your motivation. You can't just study one day and then leave it the another day. It will not be the same. You have to maintain consistency. Your goal must be your motivation.
So one last question that we'll be asking you, because we're you. I'm sure you are short of time. So people are asking about your interview experience and the language preferred for the interview, and how did the advocates and the judges that were sitting, how did they manage and ask questions from you?
I was completely horrified before appearing in interview, because it was my first time appearing for any kind of interview for any job. RJS was the first exam that I gave for any career option, right? So for me, it was a very I was very much scared because I knew that the sitting honorable High Court judges will be there on the panel, and some of them are very strict. So I was hoping that I don't get this panel or don't get this panel. So at the end, you can't just choose your own panel. You will get the panels very randomly. It's a very random system. You can't just guess. But once you appear, now I can say, after having experienced that stage, is the interview environment is very conducive. They will not grill you in a manner that a judge of moot court grills you, right? That is the difference that I have noticed. They will make you very comfortable. They will even offer you tea. There were colleagues of mine who had drunk coffee with with the honorable High Court judges when they were sitting in the interview. So it is a very cool environment. They will make you very comfortable, but at the same time they expect certain amount of decency from you, a discipline which is expected out of a future judicial officer. And my experience was the questions were very diverse, from civil law to criminal law, general principles to practical problems that they threw at me. One of the experts, I still remember that question, RJS में कहीं भी industrial dispute act नहीं आता है, but he asked me what is the definition of industry. So that question you can't dodge. If you don't know the answer, just say I due to the limitations of my knowledge, I'm not able to answer this question. I will read more on that. Be honest. If you don't know the answer, just say I don't have the right amount of knowledge to answer it. I will read more on that. अगर आंसर बनाने की कोशिश करोगे तो आपके मार्क्स वहीं डिप होने लग जाएंगे. You have to be confident enough, and at least basic questions तो you need to answer, so that उनको ये ना लगे कि आप एग्जाम कैसे पास किया, right? So that should be the strategy for interview, and that is my experience. And preferred language, uh, you can choose any language of your choice, right? If you've given exam in Hindi, speak in Hindi. They don't have any problem. If you've given exam in English, you can speak in English. One question that I see in chat box is interlinking of subjects or acts, that I want to answer on my personal level. IPC, CRPC, Indian Evidence Acts are something which are very much related. For example, if you're getting a question on expert evidence, right? So, for example, if you're getting a question on handwriting, how to analyze handwriting, what are the provisions relating to it? Handwriting can be analyzed by an expert as well. Section 45 of Indian Evidence Act. It can be analyzed by court itself under Section 73 of IPC, which is very much used in NI Act. Person who has seen you writing under Section 47 of Indian Evidence. These three have been linked. To bring in another subject, you can write in IPC what are the offenses where handwriting can be a evidence. For example, in offense of forgery, section 467, 468, 469, these are the offenses where handwriting can be an evidence, right? In dishonor of check, third law aa gaya kaun sa? NI Act, section 138, dishonor of check. So this is how you need to link. This is, और अगर आप कोई भी आंसर एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड क्वेश्चन में लिखोगे कन्फेशन से रिलेटेड कोई भी, तो उसमें अपने आप लिंक होने लग जाएंगे. यू जस्ट नीड टू प्रैक्टिस इट. टेस्ट सीरीज आपको सब कुछ सिखा देगी. 2 से 3 मंथ आपको यही करना है. सो दिस इज देयर. दैट इज व्हाई आई सेड कि टेस्ट सीरीज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for answering all these questions of the students. And I'll like to hand over to Miss Nishtha Acharya, ma'am, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Anya. Before going further for vote of thanks, we can't ignore the presence of the Director of School of Humanities and Social, Professor Naresh Dutt Mathur. So I would like Professor Mathur to say a few words, because we can't go any further without listening to your expert comments.
Yeah, can you listen me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'm overwhelmed that Mr. Mayank Pratap Singh, the youngest judge of the Rajasthan, is here today. And in last one hour, I'm listening to him that how to prepare for RJS examination, and he has given the tips for preparing, for not only for preparing but for facing the interview also, that you need to get through with your syllabus, that is the Magna Carta, and you are a judge for 24/7, and you have to see the test series and the writing skills and the language skills. You need to be focused. You need to write not fraudulently, but you should be very correct in academic writing. So many tips have been given by him, and the students have been definitely benefited by that. I remember when I was director of the 5-year law college of Rajasthan University, the Mayank Pratap Singh took admission in first year. And I know he is so disciplined person in life, so organized, so dedicated and active to all extracurricular activities. I remember when we arranged the Dainik Navjyoti Moot Court competition, then he was a participant in that with probably Mayank and Shruti Jhamar. They were the advocates pairing together, and he got the best advocate award in that Dainik Navjyoti Moot Court competition. And from that time onwards, I know Mayank Pratap Singh, that he is so he is one of the finest student of UFYLC. The Law College and UFYLC of Rajasthan University is given that he is the youngest one, and that is the USP of the University 5-year Law College. So I welcome Mr. Mayank Pratap Singh to Manipal University, and especially benefiting our students. अब आप जज बन गए हैं, तो मेरी सलाह आपको बहुत सारी है कि जितने सामाजिक सरोकारों से आप जुड़ सकते हैं, आपको जुड़ना चाहिए और उन सामाजिक सरोकारों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए. You are really a perceiving person and a fearless person, and intelligent, brilliant, ethical. सब सामाजिक सरोकारों से जुड़ रहे हैं. एंड मैं नॉर्मली जब यूएफआईएलसी में था तब भी कहा करता था कि द नंबर ऑफ केसेस हैव सो पाइल्ड अप इन द जुडिशरी. इतने केसेस हो गए हैं कि उनको हैंडल कर पाना बड़ा मुश्किल हो गया है, क्योंकि हर आदमी कोर्ट में चला जाता है. और बल्कि मैं शायरी भी इस पर किया करता था कि मोहब्बत ना सही मुकदमा ही कर दे, तारीख दर तारीख मुलाकात तो होगी. सो इस पर भी आप विचार करिएगा कि कैसे इनकी संख्या कम की जा सकती है, लोगों को कैसे, जितने अच्छे फैसले होंगे उतने ही लोग कम आएंगे कोर्ट में, जितने फैसलों में हमारे कमी रहेगी, सिर्फ वर्डिक्ट होंगे, वर्डिक्ट तो उतने ही ज्यादा कोर्ट में ज्यादा आएंगे. तो सामाजिक सरोकारों से जुड़े रहें और जो शिक्षाएं आपने पाई हैं उन शिक्षाओं को आगे बढ़ाएं और स्पेशली फियरलेसली काम करें. आप देखिए राम रहीम को जब गिरफ्तार करने के लिए कोर्ट में पेश होना था तो कितनी दलबल से हो गए थे, लेकिन जो जज थे वो बड़े शराफत से उन्होंने काम लिया और किस तरह से अपना फैसला दिया. जब इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट में मिसेस गांधी का फैसला था, जगभूषण जी ने जो फैसला दिया उस समय इमरजेंसी के खिलाफ, तो इतनी ताकत जद्दोजहद एक कोर्ट के जज में होने चाहिए, एक जज में होनी चाहिए. और मुझे खुशी है कि वी हैव जजेस लाइक Mayank Pratap Singh, and we need many more people like him in the judiciary so that our system can work better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Manipal University, Jaipur, I, Nishtha Acharya, would like to express my gratitude to our speaker of the day, Mr. Mayank Pratap Singh, for giving us his gracious presence. I extend heartfelt thanks to him for sharing his valuable insight to all of us. I extend my gratitude to our President, MUJ, Professor G.K. Prabhu, for his never-ending support to conduct this webinar. I would also like to extend my thanks to our Professor N. for his constant support and guidance throughout the preparation of this webinar. Most importantly, I would like to thank Director, School of Law, Professor Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Sharma, for holding up to us so beautifully and guiding us. Professor R.K. Gupta, Deputy Director, Professor Lokesh Sharma, and Professor Prakash Ramnani, Vishwanath Sir, Faculty Coordinator for this event, Dr. Kiran Raj, and all the faculty members, School of Law, Manipal University, Jaipur, for handling through this webinar so smoothly. I thank technical staff, MUJ, for wonderfully managing everything as a backend support. My special thanks to our all beloved student team of ADR Cell, School of Law, for conducting and performing their responsibilities so beautifully. Before we call it a day, I would like to thank all directors, HODs, and faculty members of Manipal University, Jaipur, who have joined in with us today, and to all the participants who were member for this webinar. I, with the team MUJ, sign up for now and looking forward for your active participation in the events further. Thank you to all of you.